Welcome back, everyone. It's time for another deep dive. And this one is going to take us back in time.
Back in time.
We're diving into the world of the 1999 film A Walk on the Moon, which, as you might have guessed, is set in 1969, a year packed with, huge cultural shifts. Think Woodstock,
Yeah, Woodstock.
the moon landing,
Huge year.
and our film. It just dives right into all of it. But we're not just going to skim the surface here.
I know.
We're going behind the scenes, folks. We'll dig into the production, the critical response, and get this, even a recent musical adaptation.
You're going to love this one. What's so captivating about A Walk on the Moon is how it really captures that feeling of the era, not just the historical setting,
Yeah.
but through the characters. Their struggles with identity, desire.
Their desire.
It's like a microcosm of, all these big societal tensions playing out on a, global scale.
A microcosm. I like that. Okay, so let's set the scene for those who maybe haven't seen the film. We meet Pearl Kontrovitz. She's a young wife and mother who, like many back then, is feeling, a little trapped. It's the summer of '69, and she's with her family
Summer 69.
at a bungalow colony in the Catskills, while her husband, Marty, he's back in the city working as a TV repairman.
Working hard. And that setting, the Catskills bungalow colony, that's crucial, you see, to understanding the whole dynamic.
Wow, on dynamics.
For a lot of Jewish families at the time, these colonies were like a summer escape. It's a place to, uphold traditions, connect with their community.
Okay.
But with the counterculture movement rising, that traditional world, it was being challenged.
Challenge.
Much like Pearl's own sense of self.
So it's like the setting itself becomes a character, embodying this clash between old and new. And then right nearby, you have Woodstock. Exploding with this energy of change. Such a stark contrast to the bungalow colony.
Totally. And then into this mix steps Walker Jerome. He's a free-spirited blouse salesman.
Blouse salesman.
Yeah, he represents everything missing in Pearl's life. The embodiment of the counterculture, tempting her with freedom, self-discovery.
Okay, wow. That's powerful. It sounds like the film's tapping into something much deeper than just a simple love triangle.
Oh, absolutely. A Walk on the Moon delves into that universal longing for something more,
Yeah.
That desire to break free from expectations, find your own path.
To find your own path.
It's a theme that still resonates today.
I bet. So, how did the story come about? What sparked this exploration of these themes for the screenwriter?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. The screenwriter, Pamela Gray, she drew inspiration from her own childhood.
Her childhood.
In a similar Catskill setting, imagine her as a young girl watching hippies walk right past her family's bungalow on their way to Woodstock.
Wow.
She felt the separation, like they were from another planet.
Talk about a first-hand encounter with clashing cultures. It makes you wonder how much of the film is based on, real events,
Right. It blurs those lines between fiction and reality.
It does.
That's the beauty of good storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It takes those personal experiences
Yeah.
and turns them into something universal.
Universal.
And it gets even more interesting when you consider the film's original title, The Blouse Man.
The Blouse Man.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite have the same ring as A Walk on the Moon, does it?
Not quite.
It sounds, I don't know, less evocative. Makes you wonder why they changed it.
Right. Well, beyond the title itself, the whole project was initially rejected by financiers. They deemed it too small, too soft,
Too small.
not universal, and too Jewish.
Wow.
It's remarkable to think a film that resonated so widely was almost never made because it was seen as, too niche.
Too niche. That's incredible. It's a good reminder that even the most powerful stories can face obstacles. So who championed this story? Who helped it make it to the screen?
That would be the director, Tony Goldwyn. He played a pivotal role.
Tony Goldwyn.
And his connection to the project, it adds another layer.
Oh, tell me more.
Okay, so Tony Goldwyn is the grandson of the legendary Hollywood producer Samuel Goldwyn.
Wow, okay.
Years ago, Pamela Gray's screenplay won the National Samuel Goldwyn Writing Award. That's how Tony came across it.
What are the chances?
Right. He felt drawn to the story, recognizing those universal themes of identity crisis, that yearning for more.
Yeah, that yearning for more.
Mirroring what was happening in 1969. Initially, he was just going to produce.
Just going to produce.
But he struggled to find a director who shared his passion.
I see.
But he decided to direct it himself.
So you have Pamela Gray drawing from her experiences and Tony Goldwyn's determination, powerful combination. But it begs the question, how did they weave in those historical events, of 1969 into this personal story?
That's where it gets really compelling. Think about it. While the world's captivated by the moon landing, this symbol of human progress, Pearl's looking inward, grappling with her desires, her sense of self. It's this fascinating juxtaposition of the macro and the micro.
I like that. It's like the moon landing becomes a symbol of the distance between Pearl and Marty. He's caught up in the excitement,
Totally.
fixing TVs so everyone can watch, while Pearl is wrestling with these deeper questions.
Precisely. That contrast highlights the film's central theme, the search for personal freedom, amidst a world undergoing massive change.
Massive change.
It's not just about an affair. It's about yearning for an authentic life, a desire echoed in the spirit of the era.
In the spirit of the era, this is already so insightful, and we haven't even touched on the reception or the musical adaptation. This deep dive is just getting started.
And the way the film handles all that, it really resonated with critics. It got some pretty positive reviews, especially for Diane Lane's performance.
Diane Lane.
Yeah. Critics loved how she captured, the nuances of a woman, dealing with those expectations and desires.
I can see that. It's a struggle that, it goes beyond time and place, Oh, totally.
I remember reading somewhere that A Walk on the Moon, it actually made it onto Entertainment Weekly's list of the 50 sexiest movies ever.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting.
Right.
For a film that's not really, explicitly about sex.
That is interesting. I think it speaks to how the film portrays female desire. Female desire.
It's not just about the physical.
Right.
It's about that deep longing for connection, an experience that makes you feel alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of challenges those traditional representations of female sexuality.
Especially for the late 90s.
Yeah.
Back then, you didn't often see such a raw and honest portrayal.
That's a good point. It's not just about the sexiness, but about exploring her journey in a way that feels like
real
and relatable.
Exactly.
I imagine that resonated with audiences, especially women who felt similarly, stifled by those expectations.
Absolutely. And that exploration of desire, it's intertwined with how the film portrays the family. They're at a crossroads.
While Pearl's going through this, her daughter, Allison, she's experiencing her own awakening.
Allison, her daughter.
Yeah. She's navigating adolescence, first love, all the complexities of growing up amidst this family drama.
So it's like these parallel journeys happening within the same household, each influenced by, the shifting landscape of 1969.
Exactly. And critics picked up on that. Roger Ebert, for example.
Roger Ebert.
He gave the film a mixed review, but he found Allison's storyline to be the most compelling.
Really?
He felt it added a layer of complexity to the family dynamic.
To family dynamics.
And it highlighted the struggles of adolescence.
Yeah.
Regardless of the era.
That's interesting. So even with the critical reception, there were these varying perspectives on what stood out.
Yeah.
It wasn't all just praise.
Right.
There was room for debate.
Exactly. That speaks to the richness of the film.
The richness.
It offered something for everyone.
For everyone.
Whether it was Pearl's search for freedom, Allison's coming-of-age story, or the historical backdrop.
Yeah, the historical backdrop.
Of a nation on the brink of change.
It's almost as if the film itself went through a transformation, evolving from a story that was too small to one that touched on, universal themes and sparked those discussions.
It did. And that journey continues, believe it or not. Years later, A Walk on the Moon took an unexpected leap.
An unexpected leap?
From the screen to the stage.
What? Wait a minute, there's a musical adaptation.
There is.
Seriously. That's amazing. Tell me everything. I had no idea.
I know, right? It's not just a small production either. Pamela Gray herself adapted it.
Pamela Gray adapted her own screenplay.
Yep. She collaborated with composers Paul Scott Goodman and Anne-Marie Milazzo to bring this story to life through music and lyrics.
Wow, that's impressive. She took her story, turned it into a film, and then brought it back to the stage. It's like full circle.
It is.
I'm curious, was she heavily involved in the musical?
It seems so. Given her connection to the material, it makes sense. It premiered at the American Conservatory Theater.
Okay.
In San Francisco back in 2018.
So this has been in the works for a while.
It has. There were plans to debut it at the George Street Playhouse in New Jersey in 2020. But like a lot of things,
Right.
it got delayed because of COVID.
COVID.
Yeah. But it finally opened in April of 2022.
I'm so glad it finally got its moment. It makes you think about the enduring power of this story. What do you think it is? About a walk on the moon that lets it transcend, mediums and time like that.
Well, for one thing, the themes are timeless.
Timeless.
That yearning for freedom, the complex relationships, the struggle to balance desires and expectations. Those are human experiences.
They are.
They resonate across generations.
That's true. And maybe the historical context adds another layer. The late 60s were such a pivotal time for America, so much social and cultural change.
Absolutely.
Maybe seeing those changes reflected in Pearl's story makes it more relatable.
I agree. It allows us to connect with that era on a more intimate level, to understand how those events impacted individual lives. It's not just about Woodstock or the moon landing.
Right.
It's about how they shaped people's dreams, their relationships, their sense of self.
Right. It's like we're experiencing history through the lens of personal experience, which can be incredibly powerful. It makes you wonder, does a walk on the moon resonate differently today? We're living in a time where, that search for freedom and self-discovery seems even more, prominent with social media and everything.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're constantly bombarded with these images of people living their best lives, right? Chasing dreams, breaking free from convention.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up and question your own choices.
I know I do.
In a way, Pearl's journey in the film reflects a very contemporary struggle. That tension between, the life we're expected to live and the life we yearn for.
It's that feeling of, is this all there is? Which is so central to Pearl's story. It's something that just resonates with people.
It does. And the film, it doesn't offer easy answers.
No.
It doesn't tell you the right choice. Instead, it presents these complex characters grappling with their desires.
Yeah.
And the consequences.
The
nuanced exploration of human nature, I think that's what makes it so enduring.
Enduring. So it's not a film that prescribes a path to happiness.
No, not at all.
But it makes us reflect.
On our own journey. Exactly.
And the choices we make.
And it reminds us that those journeys are rarely linear.
Rarely linear.
There will be moments of joy, heartbreak, confusion, everything.
Everything.
It's about embracing the messiness and finding beauty in the unexpected.
Finding beauty in the unexpected. That's a good one. And maybe that's the most freeing message.
Maybe it is.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey itself.
The journey?
With all its, complexities and contradictions.
Beautifully put. It makes you wonder if seeing the story on stage with the music, the live performance, adds another layer to it.
Another layer.
Imagine experiencing her conflicts, her hopes and fears, expressed through song.
Through song. And thinking about the film's impact. I wonder how those themes of freedom and self-discovery would resonate with audiences today who maybe aren't familiar with 1969.
That's a fascinating question. I believe they would. Because those themes, they transcend time and place.
Yeah.
Well, the film's rooted in the late 60s.
Right.
It's exploration of desire, the search for meaning. That resonates with everyone.
So Walk on the Moon, it's a bridge between generations.
It is.
It connects us with the past,
Well,
but also reflects our present.
Exactly. And maybe that's what makes it. And the musical, so compelling.
Compelling.
It's a window into a specific moment, but it reminds us of the power of human stories.
The power of human stories.
To connect us across generations.
So what does this all mean? What can we take away from this deep dive into A Walk on the Moon?
I think it encourages us to reflect on our own lives.
Our own lives.
Our desires, the choices we make.
The choices we make.
It reminds us that it's okay to question things, to seek out experiences that make us feel alive.
And embrace those complexities.
Embrace the complexities. It's a reminder that even amidst the chaos, whether it's cultural shifts or personal upheavals, there's beauty to be found in the human experience.
Yes.
It's those moments of self-discovery that really shape who we are.
Beautifully said. So I'll leave you with this. What parts of Pearl's journey did you find most relatable? Did any scene or theme resonate with you?
If you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out the film, or even better, the musical. Let us know what you think. Until next time, keep diving deep.